you'd like to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, state your name,
I, Vincent Perez,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
County Commissioner,
County Commissioner,
Precinct 3
Precinct 3
of El Paso County
of El Paso County
in the state of Texas,
in the state of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
We have additionally, in addition, you solemnly swear that you have not directly or indirectly, that I have not indirectly or directly
I have not indirectly or directly
paid, offered, or promised to pay,
paid, offered, or promised to pay,
contributed any money or valuable thing,
contributed any money or valuable thing,
or promised any public office or employment
or promised any public office or employment
as a reward
as a reward
to secure my election
as a reward to secure my election
or confirmation thereof,
or confirmation thereof.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Judge, I'd like to offer you this token of our appreciation of our beloved missions here. I'd like to thank you and wish you the best of luck in your coming term.
Thank you, sir.
In the summer of 2011, a friend of mine approached me as well as a group of other energetic, young, and motivated El Pasoans about his idea to run for public office. He told me that he was thinking about running for Precinct 3, an area of the county that's often overlooked and that has been historically underserved. I immediately believed in him because I understood that he had a strong understanding of the needs of this precinct. It's an area that has lacked proper and ethical leadership for quite some time. It's an area that relies greatly on the county to serve its unincorporated areas, such as communities like Fabens, Tornillo, and Montana Vista. As the campaign rolled on and we began knocking on doors, we began to understand the fabric of this precinct, the people, the conditions, and what needed to be done. At a time when people have lost faith in many elected officials, yet the need for service is so great, the people need a strong advocate in the corner who's going to go to work for them every day and is going to give his all to make sure that the people of this precinct are served. Vince will undoubtedly be that strong advocate and provide the leadership that this county seat has lacked for so long but needs so much. The challenges that this office will face in the next 4 years are many, but I know that this office, we all have an understanding that each obstacle is an opportunity for us to increase the level of service that the people of Precinct 3 receive. With that said, it is my distinct honor to introduce to you the Commissioner of Precinct 3 of El Paso, Vincent Michael Perez.
Wow. I can tell you that when we were setting up the Adobe Theater, we just put a few rows out here because we just didn't think there'd be about 25 people or so. So it really is touching for me to see everybody here, and I just appreciate it very much. Before I begin, I just wanted to thank the Honorable Judge Moody for swearing me in. It's a tremendous honor to be sworn in by one of our community's most admirable public servants. He very graciously accepted our invitation, even though he was also scheduled to be sworn in very shortly at his own ceremony downtown, so we wanted to be sure that he got out of here with as much time as possible. His son Joe, someone who I'm very proud to call a very good friend, is going to be the next state representative for District 78. Moody's are truly a family dedicated to public service, and I'm very, very grateful that they were here to share in this moment. I want to really thank everybody for sharing this special occasion with me. I know it's quite a drive, especially on New Year's morning and on a cold day like today, but it means a lot to me. My family and staff that you took the time to be here today. As my dad told me this morning, when he still saw me working on my remarks, he said, "You're not being inaugurated president." Just speech and get off the stage. So I'll keep it very brief. We chose today's ceremony. We wanted to have it here at the Adobe Horseshoe Theater because promoting the historic Mission Trail will be a centerpiece of my tenure on Commissioner's Court. I want to extend a special thank you to Mr. Joe Burke and Mr. Ben Sanchez for allowing us to use this great facility. This site, where this venue sits, is actually the location of the original county courthouse of 1850. San Elizario was actually the first seat of our county government before it moved into Isleta, then eventually into El Paso. Back then it had a population of 1,200 people and was the county's largest town and was actually one of the largest settlements between San Antonio and the West Coast. I've often said that while we promote our missions to tourists, I don't believe El Pasoans embrace the Mission Trail. When family or friends come to visit, we often take them to Mesilla and overlook the great history and the local artists who gather here. So rather than just pay lip service in promoting our historic Mission Trail, having today's event here is just one small step and will be part of a broader effort to showcase our precinct's unique history. The historic Mission Trail has tremendous potential, and much work has already been done by the community to beautify and improve many of the historic sites. I hope in the coming months to forge close partnerships with existing community partners as well as new ones to help promote and develop our mission trail into a destination that provides more entertainment options year-round to attract local families here. It's fitting that today's ceremony is taking place here at the Adobe Theater, but it's also fitting that we come together on New Year's Day. For most, New Year's is a time not only for reflection, it is also a time that marks a new beginning. As we prepared for today's event, I spent a lot of time reflecting on the remarkable journey that led us to this moment. Even though it's been several weeks since November 6th, when we officially won the election, it's still hard to believe that we made it to this point. Few people believed that we had any chance of succeeding in our effort to represent the people of Precinct 3. And who could blame them? From the beginning of our campaign, we were outraised, we had little name recognition, and as my opponents like to point out, I didn't speak Spanish, and it wasn't valley enough. On top of that, we didn't host our own pachanga with free food and alcohol. And for some who live inside Precinct 3 and for many who live outside the area, it's easy to believe the notion that our campaign was at a significant disadvantage against the more established candidates. For many years, the prevailing thought was that the people of our community cared more about the value of giveaways than the value of ideas. Communicating catchy Spanish slogans was believed to resonate more with the people of Precinct 3 than the communication of substantive issues. Luring voters to the polls with free food was believed to be more effective than motivating them to vote on their convictions. These notions were shattered this election, and while I'm very proud of the effort we put in this campaign to overcome such long odds, I'm most proud of the message that the voters of Precinct 3 conveyed this election cycle. This election cycle demonstrated that when voters of Precinct 3 are presented with a vision for a brighter future, they will listen. While many more of our residents here live in poverty, that doesn't diminish the value of vision, ideas, and issues. Virtually all residents in Precinct 3, regardless of socioeconomic status, want El Paso to be a better place for their children and grandchildren. The voters sent a clear message that empty phrases and name recognition aren't a substitute for a healthy debate on the issues that matter most. And while many voters only speak Spanish, having a candidate who is fluent in Spanish is not enough to earn their vote, nor should it be. Spanish-speaking voters, just like any other voters, want someone it is who's going to fight hard for them. I'm deeply appreciative to all the voters who came out and supported us. I'm so incredibly proud to be a resident of our great precinct. I thoroughly enjoyed meeting the thousands of voters who we met during the course of our campaign, who shared their thoughts and concerns with me. I have no doubt that I will be a better commissioner for it. And as I was reflecting on the past year, I was thinking about the people who were a part of this remarkable journey in some way. I wouldn't be standing here today if it weren't for the help of my family, friends, and supporters who believed in me. And I wanted to briefly take this opportunity to especially thank some of them. I especially want to thank my mom and dad because they've sacrificed so much for my brother and me. For those of you who know my parents, they live in a very modest home by Bel Air. We're not a wealthy family. And my mom stayed at home to take care of us. And my dad raised us on a policeman's salary. My dad always put family first. When it came time for college, my dad didn't let the high cost of tuition prevent me from studying at Georgetown. When he was still a police officer, my dad took on a second job of patrolling public housing units after his regular shift and wouldn't come home until early morning hours. As I said in our first campaign fundraiser, when I initially thought of running for county commissioner, my dad tried to talk me out of it. Those of you who know him, you know why. But when I decided to do it, my parents were behind me 100%. And again, even though my dad doesn't have a big bank account, he was the largest financial contributor to my campaign. And he and my mom spent countless hours putting up signs from Bel Air to Tornillo to Montana Vista. My brother Andrew, a talented photographer and artist who's also here today, lent a lot of his talents to produce photos and videos and other materials that were instrumental to our campaign. So Mom and Dad, I want to thank you for always believing in me. I wouldn't be standing here today if it weren't for your love and support. And I hope I live up to it. I thought this was going to be a lot easier. Versus like 10 In addition to my parents, I couldn't have done this without the love and support of my girlfriend, Claudia. She's been my rock and inspiration. She's been the only person who's been with me every single day during this whole 16-month process. And I can honestly say that being in such a spiritually fulfilling relationship has been the greatest blessing in my life. And Claudia inspires me every day to be a better person. And she reminds me of what's truly important at the end of the day, and that's the quality of relationships that we all have with our loved ones. So Claudia, I love you very much, and thank you very much for being my best friend. My campaign manager and great friend, Jose, has been an instrumental leader of our campaign team. He and I spent several months knocking on doors every day during the week and on weekends. One of the reasons why we ran such an effective campaign is because Jose brought so many things to the table. He understands policy, he knows how to analyze data, and he designed almost all of our mail pieces, which allowed our campaign to save thousands of dollars. He's one of the brightest and most talented young professionals in El Paso, and I'm proud that he'll be joining me at the county. So Jose, thank you so much for your outstanding work in getting us to this point. The people of Precinct 3 are very lucky to have such a great public servant working on their behalf. I also want to thank his mom, Miss Guadalupe Landeros, who's here today, who joined us many times when we went door to door. Thank you very much for all your support as well. I'm also very fortunate to have Jaime Betia joining me at the county. He's been involved in El Paso's political scene for many years. Jaime's contributions to our campaign were truly instrumental. He's probably the guy that our opponents dislike the most. And it's not his fault. He often captured our opponents on video saying or doing things that got them in trouble. Jaime personally spoke with hundreds, if not thousands of voters in person and over the phone. He's one of the best when it comes to communicating with the public, and I'm fortunate to have him on the team. So thank you, Jaime, also for making this. I would need another ceremony to thank all the volunteers, supporters, and family members that had a hand in the success of our campaign. But I do wish to single out a few. Silvio Baron, where's Silvio? has been the most dedicated volunteer and a true blessing to our campaign. Her home became our unofficial campaign headquarters. She really believed in us every step of the way. And just to give you an idea, Sylvia, along with Danny Frescas, who's also here, spent the weekend cleaning the Adobe Theater to make sure that it was ready for today. And the theater looked like it hadn't been open since the 1970s. There was so much dust everywhere. But she helped bake cookies for today. She made hot chocolate for everyone. And if you get to go see the office today during the open house from 2 to 4, she lent us some decorative items so it doesn't make it obvious that 3 boys work there. She actually gave us a big fire truck to put in the office, and she said that we're going to be putting out a lot of fires over the next 4 years. But Sylvia, I can't thank you enough for all your support, and I, along with Jaime and Jose, are just deeply appreciative for all the many things you've done and continue to do for us. And you really are one of the most kind, giving, and selfless individuals I've ever met. I also want to express my gratitude to George Reyes, our campaign treasurer, who dedicated many late nights to preparing our campaign reports to make sure we were in compliance with all the campaign laws and rules. He was an extraordinary part of our team and another example of just an amazingly talented young professional here in El Paso. So, thank you. Darlene Diaz helped us reach out to thousands of voters in person and over the phone before the tough runoff in July. She was incredibly dedicated and motivated to help us. James Bonneau, who I don't know if he's here, but despite being a second and third year law student at George Washington Law School during our campaign, he also lent a helping hand when we needed it most. And to all my family members and friends who helped out either by pole sitting, block walking, or phone banking, or all of the above, there were so many of you who got involved. I truly, truly appreciate your help. I wouldn't be here without you. And Marty, Richard, John, Edie, I know there's a bunch of them out there. Finally, I'd like to give a special thank you to all of our donors, both small and large, who believed in our cause and took a chance on our campaign. Many of the donors were former teachers of mine. My elementary school nurse was one. My friends, family, my dad's co-workers, my neighbors, and other community leaders. I'm honored that you have the confidence in me to serve as the next county commissioner for Precinct 3. In closing, while today officially marks the end of a very long, difficult, and hard-fought campaign, today the real work begins. By almost every socioeconomic indicator, whether it's poverty rates, health care, or education, Precinct 3 lags behind the rest of the country. And as we said during the course of our campaign, for too long the people of Precinct 3 have been poorly served in the past by elected leaders who worked harder for their own personal gain than the public good. Well, that all changes today. Over the coming weeks, we'll be working diligently to meet with community stakeholders to prioritize our short and long-term goals for the precinct. My staff and I will spend much of our first few weeks thoroughly reviewing the annual budget and meeting with various county departments. As Commissioner for Precinct 3, where many of our residents live outside the city limits of El Paso, Socorro, and Horizon City, I'll be particularly focused on ensuring that the County Road and Bridge Department is providing our residents with the very best possible customer service. We will also take inventory of existing rural transit services and, if possible, explore ideas to consolidate transit service with the City of El Paso to create a county-wide public transportation network that could streamline services and benefit taxpayers. We have many challenges ahead of us, and I hope that all of you continue to stay involved by being active participants in our county government. Again, thank you all so much for being here. It truly is overwhelming, and I very much appreciate that you took the time to be here with us this morning. Thank you.